In this video, we're going to be discussing the discriminant. So if we take the general form of the quadratic equation, we've got ax squared plus bx c equals 0. We know that using the quadratic formula, x has the solution of minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. But if we look at this thing in the square root up here, this bit up here, if we look at it in particular, there's some cases. If this is greater than 0, what we notice is this whole expression is going to have two solutions. We're going to have minus b plus or minus some value. So x is going to have a solution for when it's plus this value, and x is going to have a solution for minus this value. So that we can say this thing, if it's greater than 0, will have two solutions. Now let's take that thing and say that it equals 0. Well, if it equals 0, this thing in the square root doesn't exist, it's just 0. So x is only going to have the solution minus b over 2a. So if this thing in the square root equals 0, x only has one solution. Our third case is if this thing is less than 0. Well, if this square root is less than 0, the stuff in the square root will be negative. We can't do the square root of a negative using the normal maths that we've looked at so far. So what we can say is this has no real solutions. Now, if you go further with mathematics, you will talk about these solutions and talk about imaginary solutions. But for the moment, we'll just say it has no real solutions. Now, what we call this b squared minus 4ac, we call this the discriminant. By looking at it, it will tell us whether our quadratic equation has 1, 2, or no solutions. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. The first one, let's take the equation 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Now for this, we'll see that a equals 4, b equals 4, and c equals 1. So if we put this into the discriminant, so b squared will be 4 squared minus 4 lots of a times c, so 4 lots of 4 times 1. This is going to give us 16, take away 16, which is 0. So this quadratic equation only has one solution. Let's have a look at another example. Number 2. Let's take x squared plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. How many solutions does this have? Well, our a value is going to be 1, our b is going to be 5, and our c is going to be 2. We're using the discriminant, so we can have b squared, which is 5 squared, minus 4 lots of a, which is 1, times by c, which is 2. 5 squared is 25. Take away 4 times 1 times 2, which is 8, equals 17. This is greater than 0, so we're going to see that this has two solutions. Let's look at a third example that we're going to have. 5x squared, 3x plus 2 equals 0. This is going to give us a equaling 5, b equals 3, and c equals 2. Now if we use the discriminant, we're going to get b squared, so 3 squared, minus 4 lots of our a, which is 5, multiplied by our c, which is 2. So 3 squared is 9. I'm going to take away 4 times 2 times 5, which is going to be 40. 9 take away 40 is negative 31. Now this is less than 0, so the thing in our square root is going to be a negative. Now we don't like this, so this example has no real solution.